Cloudcast Media.
Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. So always cool to have an SDSU connection in the studio. Aztec for Life, thank you very much. I won't say what year I graduated from because there was barely running water at the school, but joined us is Chantel Paul, Galleries and Exhibitions, coordinator for SDSU School of Art and Design, the gallery program. How you doing, Chantel?
Good, how are you?
How long have you been involved with SDSU?
I've been there for just over 9 years.
For 9 years, okay. Where did you come? Where were you before?
The Museum of Photographic Arts.
Oh, so you were at MOPA. Very good. How long were you at MOPA?
5 years.
5 years, okay. And then before that?
I was working at a rock and roll and jazz photography gallery called the Morrison Hotel Gallery.
And where was that? Here?
Yeah, that was in La Jolla. And
Nice.
It was owned by a really famous rock and roll photographer, Anne Rottarowitz, who started Off the Record.
Oh, very, very cool. So obviously the arts is cool to you. You enjoy it, right? Did you get into this type of a field because you loved it when you were a kid? Were you taking pictures as a kid or doing filming as a kid? How'd you get into this?
So my father was a high school art teacher.
Oh, well, what school?
I grew up in New Jersey.
Okay.
So it has definitely been a part of my life since I can remember.
Right.
And I started photographing when I was in high school.
Nice.
And then studied photography in college, and then thought, maybe I'm not meant out to be an artist, but maybe I should work with other people's art. So I started looking at gallery and museum work and thinking about working with artists in that capacity.
How cool is that? So tell me all about the mission of the gallery program.
So the gallery program, we serve a really diverse university community and public audience through scholarly, experimental, and socially conscious exhibitions of contemporary art and design.
Right, exactly. Now, do they come to you? Do you go out and recruit them? How does that work, the exhibits?
It's largely us choosing exhibitions that represent artists and designers that will connect to the community of students on campus, to the broader regional community within San Diego, Tijuana, really thinking broadly about the scope of people that we can impact with the exhibitions that we're showing. But occasionally artists might come to us and it might be someone we hadn't heard of and think, oh, wow, that's actually a really great opportunity.
Right. So art is such a humongous field, to say the least. My mom was an artist, and I learned nothing of that. I could barely do a stick figure, for God's sake, in this area. So when you talk art, is it photographic arts? Is it painting? Is it watercolors? Is it design? Is it sculptures? Is it everything I just said?
It's everything you just said,
Yeah.
and then also expanding into performance, installation that could be site-specific to our particular facility. It could be site-conditional, meaning it can only happen in our facility. It could also be multimedia, thinking about immersive video installation, sound installation. So it's really very broad in that sense, and we focus a little bit more on contemporary artists and designers, which mostly means artists who are working today, artists who maybe at all stages of their career, someone who could be emerging, mid-career or very well established.
Right. And there's 4 galleries on campus, right? And
Exactly.
They're literally. I think I might have had a class in there. I can't remember exactly where it is, but do you have any galleries outside of campus?
We don't.
Okay, so it's all on campus then, right?
It is. So we have the Everett G. Jackson Gallery, the Floricanto Gallery, and the Installation Gallery. Those 3 galleries are more specifically focused for students and classes. And then we have the University Art Gallery, which focuses more on nationally and internationally known artists, as well as faculty, emeritus, alumni.
Right. And so those where the national exhibitions come in, so to speak?
Exactly, yeah.
Right, exactly. Now, what is your role with those? I mean, are you involved with choosing those exhibitions, or how does that work?
So my role is multifaceted.
They always are in a university. That's right. Chief cook and bottle washer and everything in between.
Yeah, so I do have a curatorial background.
Oh, okay.
And so there are some shows that I may curate. We also have guest curators, and those guest curators may be faculty members. Right now, we have an exhibition that was curated by Dr. Jillian Sneed. She's an art history associate professor, so assistant professor.
Right.
And so, it dovetails with her area of research, which is Latin America and Brazil. And then we may also work with outside jurors or individuals that we invite. We might do an open call for entry or a group show, and it really kind of broadens the opportunity for different perspectives.
Right, we're chatting with Chantel Paul, Galleries and Exhibitions Coordinator for SDSU School of Art and Design Gallery Program. I'm Drew Schlosberg. You're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest running community podcast. We're now in our 18th year. We're brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. We've been doing great things in San Diego County for more than 6 decades. So, like the exhibit you have going on now, how long is it running and when did it start?
It started in January.
Okay.
It started in March.
Thank you very much.
And it will end on May 2nd.
Right. Is that usually the length of an exhibition, or it really just depends?
It does depend. The University Art Gallery, we do try to have those professional exhibitions up a little bit longer to give the most amount of time for people to learn about it,
right,
come to campus, for students to see it, overlap with curriculum. And then for the student shows, those are a little bit of a shorter run, and we try to promote those as much as possible. So it's a little bit of a faster turnaround, but we get a lot of student community engagement and campus engagement.
Right. So for the students that are on campus and they just want to swing by the art gallery, is there a cost for them? They just show their ID and that's it, right?
It's actually free and open to anyone.
Oh,
all of the galleries. So
that's
anytime,
fantastic. Oh, nice.
Yeah. So anytime there's an exhibition, most popular hours for us, the university, is Tuesday through Thursday from 12 to 4.
Interesting. Okay.
And then the other 3 galleries mostly follow that, but they may have expanded hours if the students want to be open longer and later and things like that.
Right. So do you set up your exhibitions a year ahead of time, months ahead of time, or we got one coming in tomorrow here, we got to get ready? How does that work?
It's kind of all 3 of those. For the larger gallery, and then for things that are regular, we have a regular graduate review exhibition. We have a regular student award exhibition. Those are definitely planned at least a year in advance or more. And then we really like to stay nimble in the student galleries and give people opportunities. So it could be, next week something's going in and they've got an opening in 3 days.
Yeah, you must be pretty geeked up about what's happening. World Design Capital, San Diego, Tijuana, obviously, and international recognition. We've had some of the folks on the show talking about that, and that is quite an honor for having this in our region. Do they have things exhibited yet on that, or that's coming later this year?
So we have had faculty involved with the World Design Capital since the beginning,
right,
doing lots of different programming throughout San Diego. Right now, Arzu Ozcal, one of our graphic design professors, she has an exhibition that she co-curated at the Front Gallery, which dovetails with the World Design Capital, and we had an event on campus. We're also inviting Jim Brown. He is one of our faculty members as well. So he's curating a fall show that's specifically geared toward the World Design Capital.
Really?
Yeah, it's called Vision 2074.
So, okay, why 2074? Of course, that's 50 years from now. Is that why?
It's part of it, and it overlaps with an academic paper that is the thesis for his exhibition.
Is that, very, very, and when does that kick off, and when in the fall?
It's going to open late September.
Right.
And then it will continue through the first week of December.
And that'll be at the University Art Gallery? That'll be, right.
Yes.
Exactly. Now, with these, are there any lecture series that are getting involved? Now, you mentioned that's really cool that it ties into the curriculum. So, but are there lectures involved?
We definitely invite artists and designers in for performances, for lectures, for panel discussions. So I know that he is definitely planning some guest architects to come in and speak. We're figuring out, firming up that list. And then we're also planning a couple of events. One will be a panel discussion about parents and children and, border experiences. So.
Yeah, we come back from break, Chantel. Let's talk a little about, if you do reach out to the schools, that the K-12 schools involved, of course, in getting them fired up about maybe even going to SDSU as well. Talk a little bit about, what we can expect on this 50th anniversary of the University Art Gallery. And we always spend time in the second half, Chantel. What can our listeners do to support your efforts? Certainly go to the gallery is important as well, but maybe they have some ideas about exhibitions, or they have done their own exhibitions, or they want to contribute money. Give some thought to that. How's that sound?
Sure.
We'll be right back with Chantel Paul. She is a Galleries and Exhibitions Coordinator for SDSU School of Art and Design Gallery Program. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. You're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest running community podcast for now in our 18th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union for 6 decades. Just doing some very cool things for us folk living in San Diego County. We will be right back.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. You're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest running community podcast, now in our 18th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union for more than 60 years, just doing great things in every single aspect that to make San Diego a better place to live, play, and work, whether it's literacy, whether it's the arts, whether it's helping out food banks. They just do great work. Honored to have Chantel Paul in the studio with us. Today, Chantel is the Galleries and Exhibitions Coordinator for SDSU's School of Art and Design Gallery Program, talking about these cool exhibits that are going on. You have some upcoming 50th anniversary stuff for the gallery, is that correct?
We do. We're in the nascent stages of really identifying exactly what that will look like.
Right.
But what we do know is that we have a really vast archive of the program going back to the beginning.
Wow.
So
where do you keep it?
We have it stored. Some of it is digitally. Some of it is, we have a lot of physical catalogs, postcards, announcements, all of those things. So a lot of actual ephemera. Nice.
And so the 50th anniversary is in 5 years, is that right?
2027.
2027, okay. And in 3 years, okay, thank you. But you're already starting to gear up on some of this. How many of the artists that first got involved with the art gallery are still around?
I would say quite a few, because we do work with contemporary art and design. So
Yes.
the broadness of where people are in their career, we have worked with Roman DeSalvo, El Anatsui, Catherine Opie, Marcos Ramirez Ere. I would say recently, one of the artists that we've worked with in the past was Robert Irwin, and we know that he was such an amazing gem, and we lost him recently.
Okay.
But everyone else that I can think of at the moment is, still at some point in their career.
No, that's terrific. We talked right before break. Do you work with the schools at all, the K-12 schools involved in their VAPA programs, visual performing arts?
We have had MFA outreach, and we have, last summer we did do an exhibition with one of the VAPA schools. It was focused on photography, and two of our MFAs were involved in coordinating that. We've had exhibitions where we've created curriculum that could go out to the schools in terms of thinking about larger ideas and things like that, or bringing those students into tour exhibitions. We do as many tours as we can with.
Yeah, one of the organizations I've been heavily involved with since 1997, sort of dating myself here, is the Classroom of the Future Foundation. And the whole focus is really having students, work with the schools. Mainly we work with the K-12 schools, but we work with the universities and community colleges as well, that provide pathways for students on whatever they're passionate about. Heaven forbid, right? We focus on what they're interested in, right? And one of the things we love talking about are the different types of careers in different genres, so to speak. And in art, there's a million types of careers. And you certainly just don't have to be an artist to get involved in art. Talk about the different careers that are involved in the space you're in.
We have many different programs within the School of Art and Design.
Right.
So we've got graphic design and interior architecture, and those seem to be maybe a little more familiar to folks in terms of what that career path might look like.
Right.
But for applied design and people who are making art, a lot of opportunities exist within the arts sector. You go to institutions and you might experience an exhibition. You might go to the Nat. We have an alumni who works at the Natural History Museum in Balboa Park. He helps create the sculptures that become part of the exhibition. So there's exhibition design, there's PR and marketing, there's opportunities for shipping and crating and handling art and installing art. And there's a lot of behind the scenes that happens that all end up being career paths, but they're a little bit maybe under the radar. And
see, I love the fact you shared that. And one of the things that we try to really emphasize with Classroom of the Future, when we work with the 43 school districts, is, listen, there's many, many different paths for where you want to go. We use cyber as an example. And while there's going to be a huge amount of jobs that won't be fulfilled, because if people aren't going to be focusing in the cyber area, but not... If you don't know how to code, it doesn't mean you can't work in cyber. They need artists. They need salespeople. They need PR folks. They need lawyers, pick a topic. And there's always something. The example I use, and Elizabeth will sort of smile and laugh at this one, you're just a wonderful PR person, is that I worked for the Union Tribune for many, many years. Even though I started off as a sports writer at another paper, I was according to my friends, on the dark side of the newspaper. I was on the business side. I ran community and public relations. But I should tell people, in our heyday, there was 2,400 people working for the Union Tribune. Of that, like 6/7 of the people weren't writers. We were everything but writers. And it shocks people. You mean only 1/7 of the people at the paper? Yeah. There were people that did what I did. There were people who sold the newspaper. There were people who would go out and deliver the newspaper. There were the finance department. There was advertising. And the same thing in art. And I think it's really important for people to do that. Do you offer at all, or work with some of the folks at the School of Art to say, here are the different careers in the field?
I do, and
that's great.
Each set of students who comes into the galleries, they get an orientation, and that orientation really covers best practices. This is how you might want to handle displaying this kind of artwork. This is the standard way that you're going to move your display items around. This is why you do it this way. So really thinking about giving them as many practical skills as possible and understanding not only the making of art, but how that art is displayed. We also think about ADA and how many different types of bodies can view that particular artwork or experience it, how people can move around a space. So just starting to share those best practices for visitor engagement as well.
Right, exactly. So how does the funding, all your galleries are free, that's terrific. Certainly being at San Diego State, there's money that comes from the state, we know that too. But do you get sponsors as well or underwriters to do some of the exhibits?
We do. So we do take opportunities for grant funding when that's applicable to a project.
Right.
We would love to have individual donors if someone has a particular interest and we're doing an exhibition, a program, or something along those lines. We welcome that kind of support. We also think about the future of our students and their success. So if someone is particularly passionate about students, they can absolutely support scholarship opportunities as well.
Right. I was gonna say that. So I think what's so cool is that there's art comes from anywhere and it comes from any person. Doesn't make a difference what socioeconomic background they're in. Anyone can develop art. I guess it's in the eye of the beholder anyway. In some of these areas, do you see art in this day and age of us being just under crisis situation with mental health? That is such a great relief to be able to walk through a gallery and I'm not surrounded by craziness, noise. I'm surrounded in this beauty. Talk about that.
Art can be really restorative, and it can also give people opportunities to unlock their curiosity or just really slow down. So we do have exhibitions that particularly focus on those kinds of ideas of making creative connections and tapping into ways of making that maybe is unfamiliar, or, also thinking about things that have an access point for the most amount of people. So someone thinking, I understand this, I'm welcome in this space, and representing the most amount of viewpoints. We've had exhibitions that showcase artists who identify as disabled, exhibitions that talk about border dynamics. We have one coming up in particular with the SNAG conference. One of our faculty members is a co-president, and she's bringing in exhibitions that also collaborate with other schools nationally, but as well as UABC and Tijuana. So really thinking about the entire community and how as many people and students can really envision an experience.
Yeah, and like many things that fall under this aspect of it, we just had Via Musica on, earlier today, talked about music all throughout, the region and so forth. Summer camps they're doing, and art is in the same area. It's such a cultural equalizer, or making sure people understand that if we focus more on the beauty of art than where it comes from and who it comes from, and get away from some of this other noise, it is good for us for many different reasons. So what can our listeners do to support your efforts, Chantel?
Visiting the gallery is fantastic.
Right.
We love to make connections with people in person. We deal with objects, so we love that in-person experience.
Right.
But also, like I mentioned earlier, if they're interested in particular topics, we absolutely welcome donations and support. If they're interested in supporting maybe an artist coming. It might not necessarily be a financial donation to the program, but those opportunities for experience of bringing someone to campus, of saying, I really support this idea and want to stand behind that.
Right.
So there's lots of different ways. We are in the School of Art and Design, so we like to get as creative as possible. And we take as many avenues as we can think of. Yeah.
Do you have an advisory board that works with the school at all, or not really?
We have an internal exhibitions and exhibitions committee.
Yeah.
So we do work together to think about diversity of what we're displaying and who we're.
Can people join that, or do they have to be invited to be in that group?
It is part of it's an internal group.
Okay, right. I got you. Just trying to get some of our listeners engaged if they want to get involved in this. We'll come down and visit and chat with you. Is there a website they can learn more about what you folks do?
Yeah, it's art.sdsu.edu.
Good. That's great. Any final comments?
We would love to see more of the community from off campus make their way on campus, and they can absolutely reach out with any questions of how to make that easier to find us.
So why don't we have you come back on? I know Elizabeth will set this up and bring in an artist or two that has been featured in one of your 4 galleries, and have him or her talk about what they did, what inspired them, and what they can do to get our audience engaged. What do you think?
That would be fantastic.
We'll make sure that happens. Chantel Paul, thank you so much for joining us. Galleries and Exhibitions Coordinator for SDSU School of Art and Design Gallery Program. I'm Drew Schlosberg. You've been listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest running community podcast, now in our 18th year. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union for 6 decades, doing great things in San Diego County. We hope you enjoyed the show.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
Cloudcast Media.